Marijuana.
Blake Production.
Yo, what is good? So we're gonna do a little breakdown on these pot stocks again. So we have weed here, Canopy Growth Corporation. Now, the past 2 days have been red, yes, but at the same time, this is technically what we need because we need to create some sort of a higher low here, right? The trend has been a downtrend. So every time the trend needs to change, you need to see some sort of reversal in the trend, right? So this one is a clear downtrend. We might have a potential bottom, right? We come up, we create somewhat of a higher low here. We get a higher high. Now what we need to look for is where is this higher low going to be, right? So it might come down a bit. It might come down to somewhere around here. We might even double test this 846 range, right? I'd want to see mostly is the volume dying off, which is what we're seeing. That's kind of a good sign in my opinion. Again, tomorrow we want to see smaller red volume if it is a bearish day. But overall, I think the potential is still here. We just need to find where that higher low is going to be, because getting in there will get you the best reward if we are going to make that leg higher, right? So if we, again, we're running into earnings. I'm not too sure how the earnings play out, right? Playing earnings is more of a gamble, but with the pot stocks, right? Like the way the earnings have been every time we're at lows, it's been interesting to see. Earnings at the lows have been better than when we're at the highs, right? Every time we have earnings and we're up high, we get smashed. So it'll be interesting, you know. We definitely could go lower. There's no doubt. That's obviously part of the risk, right? Like in any stock, right? You could go lower, but overall, we're starting to see that reversal. So if we zoom in now, it might be easier to see. We have this somewhat of a double bottom pattern, right? We mark the bottom here, we come up somewhat of maybe a higher low here, higher high. We need to see where is that higher low going to be, because if it does come down to this range and then we move up higher, I think that would confirm like the run is coming. So that's my thoughts on Canopy Growth. Now with Cbdt, the wicks that we're getting off of this range are a good sign, but I want to see the bounce come in, right? Like we need to see it happen now. Otherwise, it would kind of lead me to believe that maybe it's not going to happen and we're going to continue downward. We're starting to see this little trend line come in here. So maybe, right, we're just holding this trend line. Maybe, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. So that could be holding as support right now. If we break below these 2 wicks, I'd kind of steer away until momentum is coming in. Large volume, right? That'll be the teller in these names. Large bull volume, because we don't see much of it. So once we break up above that white line with large bull volume, that'll definitely be a signal like, okay, it's happening, right? We haven't seen too much of it. So if it comes, that's going to be the trigger for all of these names, by the way. So Hexo, this one is a little bit more risky for sure, especially because the news I heard the other morning about them potentially being delisted from the NASDAQ. So they need to hold above, I believe, $3 for 10 days straight before June 10th or something like along the lines of that, for them to be up still on the NASDAQ. So if they can't do that, it's definitely going to be mad bearish over here. Like it'll probably go to like 0 in terms of a risk reward perspective. And from these levels, I mean, the trade idea is there, right? We might double bottom out at 58 cents. So I'd be kind of watching to see if we come back here, are we going to hold and then get that pop? Earnings is a little bit farther off here on Hexo, but keep in mind, like the momentum will come in if the rest of the pot stocks get the momentum too. So I still think they're worth the watch until they completely show us like, hey, the downtrend is for sure continuing. Right now, it could be. So I want to see some sort of bullish reaction by tomorrow and Monday. We need to see some sort of reaction. Otherwise, I would just be a little bit more patient, or I'd just trash these. Anyways, peace. That's the breakdown.